What is up, traders, and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be analyzing the biggest event in the market, and that will be Nvidia's earnings report. The undisputed AI leader has been driving the market to all-time highs, but the question on everyone's mind is, can they do it again? Will Nvidia beat the expectations and send the entire market soaring, or are we due for a reality check? In this video, we're breaking down everything you need to know before the numbers drop, and what it could mean for your portfolio. Let's get started. First of all, let's begin with a deeper analysis of the expected options move. Nvidia is going to report earnings today, August 27th, and we are expecting around 8% move towards the upside or toward the downside today on average versus the actual earnings move of 7.6. So we're expecting even a higher move than the historical average, which will give us an overall indication that there's a lot being priced in here on the financials of the company, which is expected to report outstanding earnings and outstanding profit. So we will need to analyze this deeper. First of all, let's begin with the financials of the company. As you can see on my screen, we are on the Ticker Flow AI app, which is completely accessible through our Patreon membership, which gives you access to multiple 1,000 all US companies here, as well as the financials, earnings, modeling, technicals, AI SWOT analysis, and recent news on the stock. For example, we look at the financials here of Nvidia, we get access to this, as well as projections. We get the earnings summary here. We can filter out through year, quarter, key market insights here, quarterly, annually, important analysts here as well. We can do modeling, a pretty much a discounted free cash flow model, which we can run and get actual price target on the company and not have to do Excel files. We also get technical analysis here, where you can perform your analysis on the charts here of Nvidia, even include indicators, Atom as well. You can also be looking at Nvidia key financials, for example, the operating cash flows, profitability, efficiency, price history, and most importantly, the valuation, which is very important here for investors. Now, simply looking as well, we also get an AI SWOT analysis here, which gives us the best analysis here and saving us hours of research here on Nvidia. And we also get the most recent news here. So first of all, let's break it all down here from the overview. So as you can see here, we've been seeing on Nvidia's strong cloud revenue growth of 15% year over year, right? And showing the robust demand for its AI and data center solutions. We also been seeing record automotive revenue up 103% year over year, which is outstanding here, up 27% sequentially and a 103% year over year, driven by the adoption of Nvidia's Drive platform in autonomous vehicles. We've also been seeing high gross margins of around 73%, right? This is to consider a hardware company, and we're still seeing these high gross margins, and it is reflecting the efficient operations and the strong product demand for Nvidia's chips. We've also been seeing significant shareholder returns of around $8.1 billion back to the shareholder. Nvidia has been returning this through quarterly dividends as well as through share repurchases, demonstrating strong financial health here on the company. And as well, we've been seeing that the market cap is around $4 trillion, making it the most valuable company in the world. Now, our investment thesis here is that Nvidia's dominant position in AI technologies, coupled with strong financial performance and strategic initiatives, makes it a compelling investment opportunity here. Looking here at the interactive chart, we see that Nvidia is up on the year 41%, which is outstanding here, pretty much leading the triple Q and the majority of the indices here towards upside. We can see here that the majority of the revenue here, around 77%, comes with the compute and networking segment, which is including the majority of the Nvidia's revenue, driven by the demand in AI recently and data center solutions, and around 22% here being with graphics, right? Now, some risk factors here on Nvidia and some detected red flag that we detected here with our AI analysis is that there's a lot of export restrictions to China, right? The US exports controls have impacted the AI chip sales to China, potentially affecting revenue growth. Now, going to the financials here of the company, we see that there has been immense growth, right? On an annual period here, we've been seeing that the revenue year over year has been a change of 114%, which has been absolutely outstanding. The market cap, like I said, is 4 billion. Revenue here has been seeing that growth, right? And we've seen still have the projections here towards 2029, and we still believe the company can keep growing on revenues and also as well on net incomes, right? By the year 2027, achieving around $500 billion here in revenue. Looking at the net income, we've also been seeing that's been going on 15%, so double-digit growth, which showing that the company is still a high growth company. Their free cash flow up 10%, showing that there's profitability and they can execute that here. We're also seeing upside projections on the free cash flow. We believe by the year 2027, we can get $300 billion here in free cash flow. Looking at the gross margins, they've been growing around 5% annually, and we are still at 75%, which is amazing to see as a hardware company. Operating margins showing efficiency as 62%, and the return on equity an outstanding 92% here for shareholders, which has been one of the best investments here over the past 20 years, especially in this AI revolution. The PE ratio is still a little bit expensive, right? But we have to consider the growth here and factor that in. And it's been pretty factored in the stock, right? We've been seeing a PE ratio of 54% here, but that does not really take into account the return on assets as well, which is pretty high. Pretty much all metrics are above 50%, showing strong efficiency and strong operations from the company. Now, if we look here at the change here in the actual graphs, we see the immense upside growth here for the revenue, especially the EBITDA. Just amazing growth from 2024 to so far 2025, just outstanding growth here. But we have gross profit margins that have been on the rise ever since, they've been upside, very steady here, remaining at that 75% operating margin as well towards upside. So everything of the company just looks extremely bullish, and that's why it's the AI leader here. Now let's go towards the AI SWOT analysis here. So what this does here is that we use AI to facilitate the research of an investment thesis. We give the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So coming in with the strengths, we see that Nvidia has a technological leadership in AI and GPUs, a strong brand recognition, and diverse product portfolio. Some weaknesses are that there's a high dependence here, though, on GPU sales, which is a significant portion from the overall revenue. As well, there's high R&D costs, right? There's continuous innovation, which does require substantial investment in research and development here. Now, the opportunities that Nvidia has here and which are factored in the stock is AI and machine learning. There's been growing demand for AI and machine learning applications, which presents significant opportunities here. Now, the threats are going to be three key factors: intense competition from AMD and Intel now taking a government stake, and as well economic uncertainty with global economic fluctuations, which can impact the consumer and enterprise spending on technology, and most importantly, the regulations, which have been intense here on Nvidia. Now, we can even see this reflected here with the amazing moves that Nvidia is expected to project, right? So Wall Street is bracing for a market cap swing of around $260 billion after the report. That is bigger than the entire market cap of Intel. So it just shows the magnitude of this company. Now, pretty much the analyst forecasts here, like I said, are going to be expected EPS around $1, right? So it's up comparable from last year's, which was around 0.68, and revenue should be around 45 billion now. So everyone's watching the key data center revenue, which is the key segment here, right? There's been projections of forecasts of eye-watering 130% annual increase as the sales of AI accelerators continue to soar off the shelves. So it'll just be a matter of time to see whether Nvidia can hold up the entire market on its back. Furthermore, let's take a closer look at what Dan Ives has said about Nvidia before the expected earnings. As we know, he's been a very bullish on Nvidia. He's been an Nvidia bull ever since the AI race began, and has been gauging the market sentiment and been helping out investors to see what the potential moves are on Nvidia. So let's take a closer look at what he has to say.
I mean, I believe it will be a pop the champagne moment. I mean, because in my opinion, it's just going to be another validation moment. You talk about some of the skepticism. It all comes down to there's one chip in the world fueling the AI revolution, and that's the godfather of AI gens and NVIDIA. And I think that is the best indicator in everything you put together, what we see with hyperscalers and overall demand. You talk about China. Look, they're now have access to China. They're not giving Huawei 20 billion a year on a silver platter. There's going to be some noise around this, but China is reopened for Nvidia. It's reopened for AMD. And at the end of the day, even if it's a third, fourth best chip, I can tell you from all the work we do in Asia, they want those Nvidia chips.
So after all that quantitative analysis, let's take a look at the actual charts. So as we know, there's an expected move around 8% on Nvidia. Currently, the stock is open, and we've been seeing that it's around $180. And I do not expect a big move today, right? So let's project 8% towards the downside in case Nvidia decides to, post and we do not see the growth that's expected, or whether there's a, sell the news event, right? They buy before the earnings, and then the institutions, they sell the news, right? So it can go all the way down towards $164, which comes in line and is very close to our support level here of around 161 due to the fact that it's forming confluence from the earnings anchored VWAP. So pretty much it's holding here from the last earnings day, which is this green line, right? And the investors from the last earnings would be buying at a discount if it goes at this price, right? So I believe we're going to be finding some buyers here at around $161 if that case does happen. Now, the stock has been pretty strong, right? So even projecting an 8% move here towards the upside on Nvidia, we see that it reaches a price of around $194.88, which is very close in line with our price target here, which is the number one price target of around $193 here on Nvidia. Now, this all depends on the overall macro news and what the overall analysts and the overall forecast, like the guidance, have to say on Nvidia. Simply looking now, currently the stock is well above this anchored VWAP from this swing high, which has shown that there's been a buy ever since it broke above here. So this candle around $179. We came back right now, we tested it, and also tested the confluence zone, which is the 50 EMA at this swing high anchored VWAP, showing that buyers are presently here. We've also been holding above the 200 on this latest dip. We found support here. You guys saw my last video, we stayed around this zone because it was forming confluence with the 200 EMA. And generally on a bullish trend, we tend to get bought up here at these key important levels here on the stock. Now, I do believe the stock has a potential to go towards those key levels. Like I said here, the post-market moves towards $193 here, which is the 8% move from where we are currently at. And in case if it's a sell the news event, we will see some support areas to buy the stock at around $161, which is forming confluence with the earnings anchored VWAP. So there you have it. Nvidia has been the dominant AI leader, but the true question is, will it keep holding it? AI has been innovative. We've been seeing growth and returning a 40% return for investors here so far in Nvidia. But will it keep being the darling? There's only one way to find out, and that is to wait for the earnings. Today, August 27th. If you guys like this video, feel free to subscribe to the channel. In the comment section as well, let me down below what your price targets are for Nvidia and whether you're bullish or bearish before the earnings report. Also, and as always, stay uplifted and don't let the markets whip you guys out. I'll see you guys on the next one.